The year 2024 has been a bumpy ride, but according to the predictions rolling in, the next year doesn't look very comfortable either. From economic collapse to nuclear war and even babies in labs, this stuff is wild. In today's video, we will explore all the predictions that have been made for the year 2025. Let's get started. Number 1. Project 2025. By the end of this year, the presidential elections for the United States are expected to create a storm. That means there is a lot of drama surrounding the potential candidates. But the biggest fiasco is because of the fear of a certain candidate coming into action. A lot of people are saying that the United States will once again see Donald Trump coming back as the president. Now, it is terrifying for a lot of reasons. Some people think that he will force Ukraine to forgo some of its lands to Russia, while others think he might even shake hands with North Korea. There is even a group who thinks that Trump being president might lead to World War III because of the stances he will take. But here is the most shocking part that has come into the picture about Trump's presidency. There are reports that Trump and his allies have created a document known as the Project 2025. It is a plan to make the United States an authoritarian regime and bring in policies that will be much harsher than they were in Trump's first term. This document is about 887 pages long and is like the perfect playbook for Trump to follow in his presidency. Some of the things that are creating shockwaves among the public are policies related to banning abortion, using the US military as a force when protests erupt, ending the free lunches program in schools, kicking the would-be immigrants in concentration camps, and other such tactics, allowing for a higher increase in hate crime across the country. Sounds crazy, right? Well, it might all be true next year. Do you think Trump will become president? Is he capable of putting these policies in place? Let us know in the comments. Number 2. Teleportation. Sounds exciting, right? To be able to teleport from one place to another? Well, 2025 might see a drastic increase in investment words, making this dream a reality. We, of course, cannot expect humans to start teleporting around in the next year, but perhaps small progress may be done by then, such as teleporting small objects or even particles. Baby steps, right? Number 3. Mass automation. It is no surprise that the coming years will see a rise in mass automation. However, experts are saying that the problem could befall humans sooner rather than later. Now, digitizing every little thing doesn't seem too bad of an idea, but it has its negative impacts. First and foremost, the unemployment rates will increase, leading to a huge population being rendered jobless. That not only calls for an economic crisis, but a shift in authorities in a lot of important institutions. There is also the debate on how badly mass automation might affect human minds, forcing them to rely heavily on robots and leaving no room to think for themselves. But that's not where the bad news ends. The rise of the robots might not be just a figment of imagination by then, because the triggering events have already begun. In South Korea, a robot took a man's life by mistaking him for a box of vegetables. Similarly, another incident reported that an industrial robot went on a rampage, injuring a worker's leg severely. Moreover, there was an AI chatbot that made a man fall in love with it. It might not appear as scary as the blood loss, but it means that they are capable of instilling control over the human mind. Plus, there are reports of killer robots being created for the military. While it does remain a myth today, it can easily become the reality of tomorrow. It wouldn't be that much of a surprise if we start seeing killer robots out in the open by next year. Number 4. Mass extinction. Humanity is bound to cease to exist one day. A lot of experts support that statement, but that trouble might be looming closer than you think. There are a lot of reports about the Earth facing a mass extinction by next year. Elon Musk recently discussed how the birth rate is declining in a lot of states, Japan being one prime example. No matter how much the screams against overpopulation rise, there are a lot of states that do not have a large human population. He believes that countries could even disappear in the upcoming years because the trend of birth rates is alarmingly decreasing. On the other hand, there is a contrasting debate about heavy human consumption and how it is impacting the living species far worse than anyone can imagine. Temperatures are expected to rise dramatically in the upcoming years. Experts think that we are currently in the coldest summer of our lives. They have claimed that 2025 could be the year when mass extinction gets triggered and the horrifying event starts its course. Which theory do you think will lead to mass extinction? Number 5. Linking to a mixed reality. You might have heard about Apple Vision Pro and thought you were mixing realities, but that is nothing compared to what virtual reality has in store for you in the future. Experts think that the year 2025 will see a rapid increase in hyperrealistic virtual reality becoming a norm among people. A lot of experiences will shift to virtual reality, making it hard to distinguish what is real and what is not. Here is why it might all be true by next year. Today, we are on the verge of creating a hyperrealistic virtual reality environment. The sense of smell and audio technology has been around for a long time. OVR Technology is a company that has created special cartridges that can release certain smells. You can get the wafting smell of bread in a bakery or even experience a unique scent based on your needs and preferences. That's crazy, right? Not as crazy as the fact that you can touch those VR objects as if they were tangible. Yes, VR devices are being made that can provide tactile feedback, meaning that you can interact with virtual objects while sitting in your reality. Imagine you find a mug of coffee, you will be able to feel its warmth even if it is not real. haptX gloves are such gloves that can help you feel the texture, friction, and even temperature changes of the virtual objects. Modern haptic feedback in VR has always been a challenge, but it is a reality now, so you can only imagine what the next year would look like. Number 6. Putin might depart this life. There are many predictions of thrilling events taking place next year, but none of them are as shocking as this. The experts believe that Putin might not be alive in the year 2025, and the terrifying part is that it won't be a natural death, but an assassination. If that is the case, there could be a lot of turmoil around the world. Do you think that could be the case? If so, then who would be behind the assassination? Would it create an uproar in the rising tensions and lead to a new war? It remains a mystery for now. Number 7. Decline of dementia. Dementia hasn't been one of the most difficult diseases to counter, but even now, great progress has been made to eliminate it. Scientists have isolated the specific chromosome responsible for causing this disease, so it is not a stretch to say that in the coming year, we can expect a sharp decline in dementia as a life-changing treatment of dementia is developed. By 2025, dementia may well be on its way to become a thing of the past. Number 8. Personalized babies. Let us tell you a story before we go and discuss why designer babies in 2025 could be terrifying. A scientist named He Jiankui did something both astounding and unethical. He was sent to jail, but was praised by half the public. He used a gene editing tool on 2 babies to rewrite a gene that causes resistance to HIV. These babies were grown in the lab and were successfully born into normal and healthy babies. Even after years, they are well and happy. But Jiankui was sent to jail. Why? Designer babies are babies that are grown in the lab. When they are an embryo, their genes can be edited to turn them into customized offspring. The primary idea was to eliminate the diseases from a baby at its early stages. The disease's potential could be assessed by gene mapping or generational history, and the relevant genes could be edited. However, experts believe that this practice could go in the wrong direction by next year. Designer babies are unethical because editing at the embryonic level means that you are editing all the cells. But here is where it gets even scarier. Experts think that parental interference will ultimately lead to them designing perfect babies that are customized to their liking. This is not only unethical, but it is messing with nature and could have extremely awful consequences. Plus, it would promote the idea of certain powerful traits around the world, causing a rise in hate crimes. Gene mapping and gene editing are being done at a smaller level today. Do you think the next year could be the year that this practice turns into creating designer babies? Number 9. Launch of a nuclear attack. There is a lot of tension running in the world in 2024 that no one could have predicted a few years ago. These recent events call for the fact that World War III might not be that far in time. There are leaked classified documents that suggest that Germany is preparing for a war against Russia. They firmly believe that Russia would either initiate an attack or use some tactic to instigate the West, daring NATO to respond. There are also reports that the Ukrainian funds might dry up soon. Plus, if Trump does become president, then that idea could very much see fruition. This might all cause Russia to have a reason to launch an attack. But then again, preparing for potential scenarios is part of military training, which could be what Germany is doing. But that's not all. There is also the conflict of Taiwan between the United States and China. With the presidential elections coming up this year in the United States, the country might get busy and Taiwan might be open to being apprehended by the Chinese forces. If that goes into motion, then there are high chance that the United States will respond. All in all, there are a lot of brewing tensions among countries. It is like a time-ticking bomb that could explode any second. With so many triggering events happening this year, we could likely see a step towards World War III. Plus, who is to say that a country will hold back in firing a nuclear weapon by then? Number 10, hyperconnectivity. People are already connected with each other through social media, but can it get a bit too much? The way things are going, hyperconnectivity is soon expected to become a reality, nearly the entire population on Earth becoming more connected together than it already is. From your fridge to your light bulb and every device you own, all of it will be connected in some way to the internet. And then all it takes is one person gaining unauthorized access, and all that data can go into the wrong hands. Isn't that scary to think about? Number 11, space travel. Mars has always been a fantasy to many people. Scientists have found crucial evidence over the years suggesting that Mars was probably once similar to Earth. That theory has driven people to Mars and continues to mystify people even today. The idea is that once space travel becomes a renewable resource, then there is no stopping humans from sending troops to space. And the scary part is that this theory of consistent space travel is not a part of fiction anymore. There are a lot of companies working on making space travel easy. They are designing reusable rockets that could send a crew into lunar orbit, bring them back to Earth, and then launch back again into space. One such trial rocket ship is the 37-story Starship of SpaceX, which is currently on its 4th testing flight on Earth and has successfully ticked all of its goals. Although it has a lot of other launches and tests to complete, the idea of space travel is not a mere fantasy anymore. Experts believe that the Starship might be able to launch its first official flight by the year 2025. If that is the case, we might see a recurring pattern in space travel, and it won't be far when the colonization of Mars becomes a reality too. What do you think? Number 12, hunger crisis. The world could see a potential global food crisis by next year. Experts believe that 49% of the South Africa population will have a hard time getting food in 2025. The country has been advised to reduce food waste. Apart from this, around 18 locations are already suffering from food scarcity and could be facing a hunger strike much sooner than later. With these numbers up, do you think the next year could shift the world towards food scarcity, as the prediction says? Number 13, economic collapse. There has been an increasing global debt that's climbing day by day. Today, the world has a 315 trillion debt. It has been the highest and the most fast-paced since World War II. This is concerning because the IMF believes that about 100 countries will have to stop spending on health, education, and social protection if they want to clear off the global debt. Here is where it gets interesting. Some experts believe that many developed countries that have higher GDPs are just an optical illusion. They have raised those GDPs through high amounts of debts that they have yet to pay back. As a result, they might appear to stand at a higher rank, but are not better than any other country. If the countries default because of their high debts, then the financial situation would plummet in the region, leading to inflation and high interest rates. And do you know where the interest rates have been the highest in the past 20 years? That's right, in the United States. Plus, the US dollar has been serving as the token of international trade for a long time. But with the recent shift in the economy, could it see its downfall? There is a mixed debate over the matter. Some seem to think that the US dollar has run its reign and will eventually be replaced because of the power shift from the West to the East. However, others do not seem to agree with that theory. What is your opinion on this? Number 14, cyber attacks will increase. Artificial intelligence has been rising in its standards daily, making it easier to perform daily tasks. But the negatives of the technology are expected to hit the world with much more ferocity in the upcoming year. One such impact is the increase in the rate of cyber attacks. There are reports that the cyber attacks will increase so much in the year 2025 that defense alone would cost the world over $10.5 trillion annually. That's a massive number. But the reason why it could be dangerous is because it will pose a threat to both life and property. Experts believe that the main targets could be the water treatment plants and the power grids of different capitals. But that's not all. Here is where it gets really scary. The cyber attacks are expected to spiral out of control. They won't just affect the region's properties, but important leaders of the state too, leading to a threat to national security. Part of an analysis says that Russia could start a World War III based on AI-generated fake images and videos of world leaders in places where they should not be, leading to a whirlpool of tensions and inevitable weapon strikes that won't be able to be stopped. That could go right for any country, an excuse to bomb their rivals. Pretty crazy, right? Number 15. Alien invasion. Many people already believe that they have been abducted by aliens or even spotted one in their lives. But what if the aliens are planning to invade in the upcoming year? There have always been theories about how the government is hiding the fact that they have contacted aliens. But why would there be an alien invasion in the first place if there hasn't been one before? In fiction, the main reason for an alien invasion has been because humans were successful in developing advanced technology. However, experts disagree with this statement because there isn't something the humans would have that the aliens wouldn't. Then why the shouts for an alien invasion? This is because of space travel. Some people believe that with the colonization of Mars, humans could be polluting space. Their interference on Mars could lead to a cosmic event that could force the aliens to invade Earth. The analysts even believe that an asteroid could be sent Earth's way if the aliens are not too happy with the humans and want to seek revenge. We know how it sounds, but it is nothing but a prediction as of now. It may be highly unlikely that this would happen in the next year or ever, but the uncertainty of humans would never let us rule out the possibility. Don't you agree? Number 16. Fall of the Internet. NASA received some scary news from the Parker Solar Probe, and it has sent shockwaves across the entire world. The probe predicted that the solar activity will reach its peak by next year. It will be the largest solar flare to hit Earth in the last 165 years. The bad news is that scientists have warned the world that it might lose the internet. Experts believe that solar storms could severely affect the internet cables, especially the ones found underwater and offer the global network. Although the idea is still quite unclear whether the internet will actually go offline, there have been similar reports in the past. When the solar storms raged back in the day, they affected the electrical grids and communication systems drastically. So, is it a fear stemming from the past, or will an internet apocalypse start its course? Only time can answer these questions. Number 17. Computers in brain. This prediction could be good or bad. It is for you to decide. There is a lot of effort being put forward to implant computer chips into human brains. The target is mainly to help people with disabilities right now, but it is not far that some human enhancements in the brain department will be underway with said chips. Now, some extra cloud storage for our memories or super fast calculation capabilities would be handy, but what are the downsides? Imagine ads being played right inside your head. Sounds scary, right? Well, that could be a reality, seeing how pesky ads seem to find their way into everything nowadays, not to mention mind control on a large scale being made possible thanks to these chips. And we could see the use of brain implants like this become common in 2025 from the way the tech is advancing. Scary, right? Number 18. Superhumans. You have probably seen the Terminator. The time is not far when we might even spot one roaming around in real life. Experts believe that man merging with a machine can lead to the creation of superhumans, and it might not be as pretty as it sounds. We have already started seeing the excessive use of prosthetic limbs and assistive gloves, but what if it gets worse? But here is where it gets crazier. There are reports that the US military is creating exoskeletons for the soldiers to turn them into superhumans. Every movie that starts that way has never ended well. So you can imagine where this might lead. Don't you agree? 3. Number 19. 3D printing will become a norm. 3D printing can help you bring any design to life. However, experts are saying this technology will be terribly misused in the future. In the year 2025, there are high chances that this expensive technology might start gaining popularity. Soon enough, every other home will have a 3D printer where people will be designing anything that they want. From guns and other weapons to unregulated designing, the results could be catastrophic. We might not see the extent of it happening in the next year, but it sure could show us the start of this destructive event. Number 20. Nanobots. Today, nanobots are used for minimally invasive surgery, drug delivery, biomarker delivery, and even tumor detection. Scientists send these bots into the bloodstream for such procedures, but they are very much capable of breaking the blood-brain barrier. Do you see where I am going with this? Experts believe that the next year could see a significant rise in the use and production of nanobots. This might be done to tackle the different kinds of medical issues. But the line for abusing this technology is pretty blurred. A lot of people might use it to take the lives of certain people, while others might use it to track human thoughts. Some believe that the nanobots will become capable of transmitting these thoughts too. That's crazy, but isn't every other technology being developed today bizarre? It wouldn't be surprising if we see this happening in the upcoming year. That's all about the terrifying predictions that have come up for the year 2025. Which one do you think is the most likely to be true? Let us know in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts. Show us some love and hit the thumbs up icon on your screens. While you are at it, make sure you subscribe to our channel. We have a lot more in store for you. Until then, goodbye and thanks for watching.